Mubyeyi urifuza guteganyiriza umwana wawe ejo heza, gana mu mashuri ya apejerwa ariyo Lycée de Ruhango-IKIREZI hamwe na Emeru Intwari. Muri Lycée de Ruhango-IKIREZI tubafitiye amashami akurikira: Culinary Art cyangwa se ibijyanye n'ubutetsi, hari level 1, level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Food and Beverage Services tubafitiye level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Tubafitiye kandi accounting cyangwa se ibaruramari level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Tubafitiye n'ubukanishi bw'amamodoka mu byiciro bikurikira: Auto Engine Technology level 3, Auto Transmission and Control System Technology level 4, Automobile Transmission and Control System Technology level 5. Tubafitiye n'ubwubatsi Masonry level ya 3, level ya 4 ndetse na level ya 5. Tubafitiye Tourism ubukerarugendo level ya 3, iya 4 ndetse n'iya 5. Turabibutsa ko tubafitiye n'icyiciro rusange Tonkome. Naho muri Emeru Intwari tubafitiye amashami y'umwaka umwe akurikira: Automotive Technology ubukanishi bw'amamodoka level ya mbere, Hairdressing ubwiza no gutunganya umusatsi level ya mbere, Tailoring ubudozi level ya mbere, Masonry ubwubatsi level ya mbere. Muri aya mashuri yombi tubafitiye abarimu b'inzobere harimo n'abaturuka hanze y'igihugu. Tubafitiye kandi n'amacumbi y'abakobwa ndetse n'ay'abahungu. Abanyeshuri bacu bakora ingendo shuri mu gihugu ndetse no hanze yacu. Tubaha umwanya wo kwimenyereza umwuga mu bigo bijyanye n'ibyo biga. Dukorera kandi graduation abanyeshuri basoje amasomo yabo. Aya mashuri aherereye mu mujyi wa Ruhango hafi ya gare. Ku bindi bisobanuro mwaduhamagara kuri 0788366219 cyangwa se 0722356668. Mwanaduhamagara kandi kuri 0788366213 cyangwa se 0788202285. Mwanadusura kuri website y'ishuri www.apejerwa.ac.rw. Umurimo ukozwe neza utuma batugirira icyizere.
Good morning. My name is Jean d'Amour Hagengimana. I'm one of trainer in automotive transmission in Lycée TVET school. So today we are going to continue for learning our module which is called Perform Pneumatic System Maintenance. Module name is Perform Pneumatic System Maintenance. So, as we have seen, this module has a competence which is called maintain. Competence is maintain, is to maintain pneumatic system. Is to maintain pneumatic system. So, to identify pneumatic system. In identification of pneumatic system, we have seen that you have some outcomes, learning outcomes. We have started with the property of pneumatic system, even if we have seen the description of pneumatic circuit. So, the lesson for today is the learning outcome that you are going to learn. It is learning outcome 3, which is called describe pneumatic pneumatic circuit. Pneumatic circuit. The lesson that you are going to learn today, it is description of pneumatic circuit. In the beginning, in the pneumatic circuit, I have seen that the brake system 1, brake system 1 was it was single circuit power assisted brake system with mechanical parking brake, but with low pressure. it was single circuit power assisted compressed air brake system, low pressure, yes, low pressure with mechanical parking brake. So this circuit, I've seen that it was the circuit one or brake system one, where have seen some pneumatic component which will help us to maintain a brake system on the heavy vehicles, but those heavy vehicles, commercial vehicles, with lightweight vehicles. Though I think that do you remember that? But and also we have seen brake system 2, which was called, it was Dio circuit, power assisted compressed air brake system. It was also low pressure because it used the pressure which is below 80 bars. Do you remember that? Low pressure. Also with mechanical parking brake. Mechanical parking brake. So I think that, do you know how to differentiate? Do you remember how to differentiate the circuit one? This is the brake system, which is called single circuit power assisted brake system with mechanical parking brake, low pressure. With this one, brake system 2, which is dual circuit power assisted compressed air brake system, low pressure with mechanical parking brake. So comparing with their component, even if the vehicle which uses those circuits are somehow different comparing with their size. So here we have seen that this one will found to use one compressed air reservoir. It uses also a monitoring switch, while here we're using 2 compressed air reservoir, but during for showing the pressure which are being used in the system, here we use monitoring switch, while on brake system 2 we use low pressure indicator. I think that, do you remember that? So today, so I would like to remind you what you have seen in this session before, but today we have another new session, which is a brake system 3. A new system is brake system 3. System 3, which is called, it is Dio circuit power compressed air power brake system low pressure, but with no linkage, with no linkage parking brake. So as we have seen for the brake system 1 and brake system 2, we have seen that it will use mechanical parking brake. But now we are starting to see some circuit or some vehicles which will use no linkage pneumatic parking brake. So at the end of this session, I would like that every learners will be able to draw a schematic diagram, of this circuit. Every student will be able to draw this schematic diagram, even if every learners will be able to explain or to understand the function of any component composing this circuit 3. So for starting for well understanding, let us first of all try to draw this brake system 3 in order to understand every component which will help us to understand the brake system 3, which is called the dual circuit power brake system with no linkage parking brake. So as we have seen in pneumatic circuit, we must have the source of energy which will be used in pneumatic system. Means that we must have air compressor. This air compressor, do you remember that it is here for sucking the air which will be used in pneumatic circuit and pressurize that in order to have a high pressure for braking the vehicle. So we have air compressor, we have 0 intake, have 2 outlet ports. So here we must have pressure, regulator. So pressure regulator. This pressure regulator, do you remember that in the previous circuit, I have seen that it has the function of regulating the pressure in pneumatic system. It will allow the pressure of pneumatic to continue to the other component, or it will allow the pressure of air to go to atmosphere, because it will operate in cut-in pressure, do you remember, and the cut-off pressure. If you say cut-in pressure, it is when the pressure regulator allow the compressed air to continue to be stored in the air reservoir. But whenever air reservoir has been full of, it will not allow the compressed air to continue to the air reservoir. It will open this port to continue the air to the atmosphere. So after that, here, because this is the circuit, I remind you that we are in brake system 3, totally different with the others, because here you must have antifreeze, you must have antifreeze pump. This antifreeze pump, it has the function of injecting the antifreeze in a pneumatic component in order to prevent the condensation water in the pneumatic circuit. So we have antifreeze pump. Then after, we will continue our circuit. So here we must have, as we have seen, we must have a 4-circuit safety valve instead of dual circuit safety valve for the brake system 2. So here we must have a 4-circuit safety valve with the air reservoirs. Those are the graphic symbols. So air reservoir must have a draining valve. Yes, this is a draining valve. It has the function of removing the condensation water in air reservoir. Do you know that whenever we have pressurized air in air reservoir, sometimes because of the variation of temperature, sometimes they will be condensate. They will be condensate. So this draining valve, it has the function of removing those condensation water in air reservoir. So we have also another air reservoir. You must have also another air reservoir because this black system 3 has free air reservoir, which will help us to store. Air reservoir has the function of storing the compressed air. So this is also draining valve because every air reservoir must have the draining valve, which will help us to remove the condensation water in the tanks. So we have another port. Must have another air reservoir. Another air reservoir which has also a draining valve, as you have seen, is have function of removing the condensation water. So we have another port also, which will use to supply to the secondary loads. Whenever you want to take some compressed air, you will use this port for accumulating the pressure. So this one, four-circuit safety valve, has a function of distributing the compressed air to the different circuit or the different tanks, and also it will prevent whenever one circuit has been failed. This four-circuit safety valve, it will allow to operate if there is a link in one circuit. So here we must have to port 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. As you have seen, those are the number of ports that you have. Do you remember the classification of brake system according to the purpose? 21 and 22, it will help us to supply the air in surface. If say classification of brake system according to the purpose, we have service brake system. Service brake system, do you remember that? Service brake system has the function of stopping the vehicle or to keep the vehicle, the speed of vehicle constant whenever the drive is inside of the vehicle. So these 21 and 22, it will supply the compressed air in service brake valve. Yes, it will supply the compressed air in service brake system. So this one also must have. We must have also the tandem master cylinder. Tandem master cylinder. Do you remember that? This circuit, where the circuit is 3, where we are still on learning outcome 3, which is called description of hydro-pneumatic system. Means that we have a pneumatic and also we have hydraulic in the system. Means that the pneumatic we pilot the hydraulic in order to brake the vehicle. That's the reason why we have, that's why we must have tandem master cylinder. Tandem master cylinder means that here they will be containing some hydraulic oil. So this one, we have also another device. New comparing with the devices that we have seen in Black System 1 and Black System 2. This one, it is new comparing with the others. You must have a load sensing valve. This load sensing valve has the function of accelerate the air while the vehicle has, depending on the load of the vehicle. So whenever the load is, you have a high load, it will accelerate the pressure for while braking the vehicle. So after this load sensing valve, we must have the rear wheel cylinders, rear wheel cylinders. Must have a rear wheel cylinders. These rear wheel cylinders, do you remember that for the vehicle we still have, we have that this brake system, it is a dual circuit compressed air power brake system with no linkage parking brake. Means that we don't have mechanical parking brake. That's the reason why we must have no linkage. We must have no linkage parking brake. Those are complex cylinders. Spring brake cylinders. Those spring brake cylinders, spring brake cylinders. Those spring brake cylinders has the function of converting the potential energy, which has the potential energy which by with those springs into the mechanical energy during braking. So here it is where the parking brake will act its function. That's the reason why we must have a relay valve. We must have a relay valve. This relay valve, it will help us during admission of air and removal of air in the spring brake cylinders. Yes. So and control. Have 1, have 2, and have 4. It will control parking. It will control the parking brake valve. Yes. So this parking brake valve, it will get the compressed air found from the air reservoir from the port 4. So that is the reason why this circuit, it is dual circuit compressed air brake system with no linkage pneumatic parking brake. So the parking brake valve, it is a control. It is therefore controlling the parking brake system. So here also in the front, you must have also the wheel cylinders. Yes, must have also the wheel cylinders. Wheel cylinders. Wheel cylinders. So those wheel cylinders will help us for braking a vehicle in service brake system. We have seen that a service brake system has the function of stopping the vehicle even if keep the speed of the vehicle constant, but whenever the driver is inside of the vehicle. So this circuit, it is a graphic schematic diagram, which is therefore helping those heavy vehicles with gross weight braking. So as we have seen, this one have said that it is air compressor. Compressor. Yes, I've seen that is air compressor. I've seen that this is pressure regulator, pressure regulator. We have seen that this one is antifreeze pump, antifreeze pump. This one is TZ4 circuit surfeit valve, for circuit surfeit valve. Yes, as you have seen that this one is the drain valve. Those are air reservoir, even if drain valve, yes, also drain valve, air reservoir also, air reservoir, yes. So you have this one is tandem master cylinder, tandem master cylinder. We have also load sensing valve. We have parking brake valve. We have spring brake cylinders. You have relay valve. We have relay valve. We have wheel cylinders. Even if those are the wheel cylinders. So, for well understanding this schematic diagram, we must remember the classification of brake system. So, you have seen that we classify the vehicle, the brake system, according to the purpose. If you say the classification of brake system according to the purpose, means that we have service brake system. That service brake system, it is where the vehicle will be stopped, or the speed of vehicle, they keep the speed of vehicle constant, but whenever the driver is inside the vehicle. So, in the classification of brake system according to the purpose, we have also parking brake system. That parking brake system, it is where the vehicle will be stopped, or it is be stopped on the sloping roadway whenever the driver is outside the vehicles. So for parking brake system here, it will be operated by this parking brake valve to stop the vehicle on uphill gradient whenever the driver is absent. So we have also secondary brake system. We say that the secondary brake system, whenever there is a problem in service brake system, if the service brake system fail, we will have a secondary brake system in order to stop the vehicle. Sometimes it will be used we'll use parking brake system for braking the vehicle. It is totally different with emergency brake. So you have also the classification of brake system according to the number of connecting line in vehicle combination, where we have single line with those vehicle which has we have one line which will transmit the compressed air from tractor to the trailer of the vehicle. So this circuit will help us to understand how the brake system will be done on those vehicles. So, for well understanding these brake systems 3, which is called the dual circuit compressed air power brake system, low pressure with no leakage, pneumatic parking brake, we must understand. So you must understand the way it will be used. It will be used on those heavy vehicles which will carry the weight of between 8 tons and 15 tons. So the construction of this circuit, it has some same characters with the construction of brake system 1 and brake system 2. As you have seen, you have some pneumatic groups which are always provided like service brake system, because you know that every vehicle must have service brake system, because you will need to stop the vehicle or to reduce the speed of the vehicle whenever the driver is inside, while in the roadway. So it has also the parking brake system and the secondary brake system. Those are, if it is compressed air supply, service brake system and parking brake system are always provided on every vehicle. So, but there is another pneumatic groups which will be used when it is needed. So we are going to see the operating principle. We are going to see the operating principle of this circuit. The operating principle of this circuit, it is based on the service brake system and secondary brake system, so as parking brake system. We are going to see how it will be done. In the service brake system, do you know that for braking the vehicle, the driver it will need to push the brake pedal. Here we have the brake pedal. Whenever the driver push this brake pedal, the vehicle will be stopped. Do you know that? Here we will use pneumatic and hydraulic. So the air will be sucked by air compressor. After being sucked, it will pressurize the air to the pressure regulator. After, in the pressure regulator, I have told you that it will operate in 2 positions: cut-in pressure and cut-off pressure. So, if this means that here, from air compressor to the air reservoir, we are in compressed air supply. Means that we are generating the air which will be needed to brake the vehicle. Air reservoir, air compressor, suck the air and pressurize it. Pressure regulator, it will regulate the pressure in pneumatic system, yes. In cut-in pressure, so as cut-off pressure. If you say cut-in pressure, I've told you that it is when the pressure regulator allows the air to pass through it to be stored in air reservoir. But whenever the air reservoir has been full of, it will cut the pressure and allow it to go to the atmosphere. So this antifreeze pump, I've told you that it has the function of inject the antifreeze in a pneumatic circuit for preventing the condensation in water. That's the function of this antifreeze pump. So 4-circuit safety valve, yes. This 4-circuit safety valve is also one of the device which is included in compressed air supply, yes. Distribute the pressurized air, distribute it, and allow the other circuit to operate when there is a link of one of them, yes. And we have also air reservoir which will help to store the pressurized air which has been generated by air compressor. Means that in operating principle from air compressor up to the air reservoir, it is compressed air supply. So you are going to see how the secondary brake system, how the service brake system will be done. the surface brake system will be done whenever the drive will act on the brake pedal. Means that if we push the brake pedal, it will allow. Means that this system will help the driver to use it will boost, has the function of boosting the driver forces. It will boost the driver forces, and the air help to push the hydraulic, which is contained in this tandem master cylinder, and go to the wheel cylinders. That is how service brake system will be done. That's how service brake system will be done. So let us see how secondary brake system will be done in operating principle. Secondary brake system, I've told you that we say secondary brake system when there is a failure of surface brake system or a link of one of the circuit only in the system. So it will help us how we get a brake whenever there is a failure of service brake system. So let us see how the parking brake system. This load sensing valve, I have told you that it will be operate in a service brake system, yes, because those heavy vehicles sometimes it will carry a high weight. So this load sensing valve will act in order to accelerate the pressure of hydraulic in order to brake the vehicle when there is a variation of load of the vehicle. So that is where the surface brake system will act. So for parking brake system, do you know that every parking brake system, do you remember that it acts on the rear wheel? Here we have those spring brake cylinders. Spring brake cylinders, where in parking brake system it will be done by using this relay valve and this parking brake valve. So if you say relay valve, I have told you that this relay valve has the function of to help in admission of air and remove of air in spring brake cylinders. This relay valve, it will operate in driving position and braking position. Means that sometimes it will allow. I've seen that here you have 1 and 24. It will connect to the four-circuit staffette valve from 24 port to 1 during driving position. Driving position means that sometimes it will allow the air passing through it, or it will cut the pressure from the spring brake cylinders to the parking brake valve. So parking brake valve is like service brake valve, because all of them are the control in pneumatic system, because sometimes all of them have the function of, if we say service brake system, it controls the service brake if we say service brake valve, it will operate in the service brake system in order to stop the vehicle, to keep the speed of the vehicle, to reduce the speed of the vehicle, or to keep that speed constant. But by action of the driver, means that when the driver is inside. But whenever the driver is going outside of the vehicle, it will need to use this parking brake valve during stopping the vehicle on uphill gradient or on sloping roadway, but when the driver is absent. So I think that in the beginning I've told you that at the end of this session, every learner will be able to scheme or to draw this schematic diagram for pneumatic system. So I think that every student has been well understanding how to draw this circuit, even if I've told you that you will be able to understand. So I think that every student learners is well understanding the functions, the name, the functions of those components. So after this session, next time we will see also one of the schematic diagram, means that the brake system 4, which will be called dual circuit power brake system with high pressure, even if we know with no linkage parking brake. So our session is over today, but you have to keep on for revising, scheming this schematic diagram, even if for well understanding those functions of pneumatic component. So thank you for your kind attention. Okay, as a student from level 5, do you see this circuit that you have seen before? Let us try to compare with that equipment group with these devices you have here. So in equipment group, as you have seen, I've seen that there are some groups which are always provided, like compressed air supply, service brake system, so as parking brake system. So in compressed air supply, I have told you that while you are using that kind of schematic diagram of brake system 3, I have told you about compressed air. So here, these devices that you are looking here, it is air compressor. So I have told you that the function of air compressor, it is to suck the air and pressurize that kind of air. So this air compressor you have, it has some component that you have seen. You have tank, you have motor, you have also regulator. So let us see how the operating principle of this air compressor. So for well understanding, let us try to remove this cover. So in order to understand some component, how air compressor will suck the air and how it will store it. So this is the cover. Yes. So the cover, this tube, it is where the air which has been sucked will pass through in order to be stored in the air reservoir. So here we have some devices which are inside. Let us try to see those devices. The cover, remove the cover. By using the Allen key. So here you have some devices. This is the cover. This is where the air will pass through during admission of air in air reservoir, and it will pass here in the inlet port and be sucked and in the chamber of cylinder. So here we have a crankshaft with the piston here and connecting rod. When the piston move up to downward, it will suck the air to the atmosphere and store it inside of cylinder like this. And then if it move up, it will pressurize the air passing through the outlet port and pass through this tube and being stored inside of air reservoir. So here you have pressure regulator. As I have told you, this pressure regulator in pneumatic system has the function of regulating the pressure during cut-in pressure, so as a cut-off pressure, in order to protect the pneumatic component against bursting or against overpressure. This is the pressure gauge, which will help us to measure the amount of air which has been, or the the pressure which we have inside of air reservoir. So here, after being stored, this motor, it has the armature, so as the winding inside. That's the reason why sometimes it will need to be connected to electrical for where getting the rotation of the motor in order to make a moving of piston you have inside of wire, because that piston you will need to move down up in order to pressurize the air or to suck the air which will need to be used in a pneumatic circuit. So after that, I have connect our air compressor. So this air compressor, I've told you that you have motor, you have pressure regulator, and the tube which will help us to pass the way of air which will pass through inside of air reservoir. So have the pressure. So if you want to turn on, you will pull down this, pull up for where. Yes. So I have told you that those air reservoir must have the draining valve here, which will be used to remove the condensation water here. So have to pull for removing the condensation water while there is water which has been stored inside of air compressor. So do you see that some devices you have here will be able to use in pneumatic circuit? Because this air reservoir, it is one devices which will be in a compressed air supply component. So other devices that we are not looking here are those which will help us to in service brake system, so as parking brake system, because it will be used in the vehicle for braking the vehicle. But here you have the devices which will help us to accumulate or to generate the compressed air which will be used in a pneumatic circuit. So after that, you will need to install the devices which has been removed. This one is a gasket. Yes, it is a gasket. So you have here those valves. And putting the cover. Yes, and then tight with their bolts. You will see that the motion of our piston will always available, and then have to connect the output from air compressed air motor to the air reservoir. So do you see that here we are able to generate that compressed air which will need to be used in a pneumatic circuit. So think that any student who has a question will be able to ask me the questions by using my contact number 0788931137. I repeat, it is 0788931137. So thank you for your kind attention.
mubyeyi urifuza guteganyiriza umwana wawe ejo heza, gana mu mashuri ya apejerwa ariyo Lycée de Ruhango-IKIREZI hamwe na Emeru Intwari. Muri Lycée de Ruhango-IKIREZI tubafitiye amashami akurikira: Culinary Art cyangwa se ibijyanye n'ubutetsi, hari level 1, level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Food and Beverage Services tubafitiye level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Tubafitiye kandi Accounting cyangwa se ibaruramari level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Tubafitiye n'ubukanishi bw'amamodoka mu byiciro bikurikira: Auto Engine Technology level 3, Auto Transmission and Control System Technology level 4, Automobile Transmission and Control System Technology level 5. Tubafitiye n'ubwubatsi Masonry level ya 3, level ya 4 ndetse na level ya 5. Tubafitiye Tourism ubukerarugendo level ya 3, iya 4 ndetse n'iya 5. Turabibutsa ko tubafitiye n'icyiciro rusange Troncome. Naho muri Emeru Intwari tubafitiye amashami y'umwaka umwe akurikira: Automotive Technology ubukanishi bw'amamodoka level ya mbere, Hairdressing ubwiza no gutunganya umusatsi level ya mbere, Tailoring ubudozi level ya mbere, Masonry ubwubatsi level ya mbere. Muri aya mashuri yombi tubafitiye abarimu b'inzobere harimo n'abaturuka hanze y'igihugu. Tubafitiye kandi n'amacumbi y'abakobwa ndetse n'ay'abahungu. Abanyeshuri bacu bakora ingendo shuri mu gihugu ndetse no hanze yacu. Tubaha umwanya wo kwimenyereza umwuga mu bigo bijyanye n'ibyo biga. Dukorera kandi graduation abanyeshuri basoje amasomo yabo. Aya mashuri aherereye mu mujyi wa Ruhango hafi ya gare. Ku bindi bisobanuro mwaduhamagara kuri 0788366219 cyangwa se 0722356668. Mwanaduhamagara kandi kuri 0788366213 cyangwa se 0788202282. Mwanadusura kuri website y'ishuri www.apejerwa.ac.rw. Umurimo ukozwe neza utuma batugirira icyizere.